What's going on, fantasy football enthusiasts? I'm Chris Colosi, aka DeBrahma Bull on DraftKings, and this is my brand new show, The Catch-Up, the show that brings you the most pertinent and accurate fantasy football millionaire information 2 days too late. So let's kick off this first episode of The Catch-Up with the quarterbacks. 2 of them got benched this week for doing too well. If you were the proud owner of Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers this week, you got to get furious and tear your hair out when you saw them get benched for throwing too many touchdowns. And that's one of the problems you're going to have when dealing with daily fantasy. You want to have a quarterback that's good, but is playing a team that's not awful, so there's an incentive for him to stay on the field and continue to be good at football. Which ordinarily wouldn't bother me. I mean, don't run up the score, that's bad sportsmanship. But the games in Week 10 were a little different than they usually are, in that every single point scored donated money to a veterans charity. And seeing as they were the Veterans Day games and every single point put money into a veterans charity's pocket, you would think they'd keep their stars on the field. Basically what I'm saying is when you bench Peyton Manning after having 5 touchdowns and Aaron Rodgers after having 6, you're pretty much saying we've given the veterans enough money, which personally I think is selfish. I also could have used more touchdowns out of those guys. I mean, the troops, yeah, that's the real thing, but touchdowns. If you had Ben Roethlisberger this week, the Steelers played down to their opposition as they always do. Trust me, I've been a Steelers fan my entire life. I've watched them beat the Patriots, house the Denver Broncos, and then lose a game to the Tennessee Titans. I mean, 12 touchdowns in 2 weeks, time to come back to reality, guys. But a garbage time TD from Martavis Bryant may have saved your wide receiving core. You Drew Brees owners will know that he had an okay game, but a last-second push-off from Jimmy Graham cost him a 24-point hookup if you had them both together. And he didn't need to push off. He had the ball. I had Drew Brees. I had Jimmy Graham. I needed those points. Tony Romo had a great game for his price point. He was cheap, low-owned, and hooked up with Dez Bryant for 2 touchdowns and 158 yards. Like, who saw that coming? He's got a broken back. Running backs. If you had Bobby Rainey this week, then you won nothing. 29% of you, including myself, had him, and all we got to do was watch him not get the ball. Ronnie Hillman was a super bust, being over 20% owned and tweaking his ankle and leaving the game, giving all of his carries to C.J. Anderson. Who is C.J. Anderson? LaShawn McCoy decided to ruin 51.9% of our days. I went ahead and did the math on that. 51.9% of 52,895 participants is 27,452 individual participants' days ruined. Divide that by 365, that is 75.21 years. Thanks, LaShawn! I'm not even going to try to figure with the leap year, but it would be. So Bobby Rainey, Ronnie Hillman, and LaShawn McCoy get our award this week. Wide receivers. As I said before, Dez Bryant had a great game. Martavis Bryant had a good game. Pretty much the Bryants hooked up for good games. It was a very Bryant-heavy weekend. Julio Jones had a monster, but who really cares because 44% of us had him, so couldn't really separate from the pack with Julio Jones. Brandon Marshall had a great game, but I'm not sure how. There were no touchdowns, the Bears were awful, and then I looked and he was the 4th leading fantasy point scorer in the wide receiver category. Okay. Jordan Matthews had a coming out party at 3.8% owned, scoring 35 points. Guys, feel free to throw a tip this way every now and again. Tight ends. Jimmy Graham and Julius Thomas did exactly what they were supposed to, and that's score points. Defense. Defense is always a crapshoot on some level, but I was so excited to see that the Cardinals had done nothing. That's until the last couple minutes of the game where they scored 2 touchdowns and paid off their price point, and everybody jumped ahead of me. But then the Eagles D showed up, and at only 2.9% owned, they put up an extremely crooked number. Those 31 points just eradicated everybody out of the field. So frustrating. Sometimes it's hard to figure out exactly who you want to field, picking the right players and getting them together. Everyone has their ritual, right? Check this out.
Say what you want about me, but I've always been a simple man. Simple tastes. No foam caramel soy latte in my hand. That tastes good. I was playing fantasy football long before anyone paid me to play it. Long before any million maker tournaments or any kind of fanfare. I just kind of liked it. I come out here late at night, window crack, breeze blowing gently through my hair, just taking it all in. I should probably open my eyes up and look at the road. No, just gonna feel it, baby. That's right. You might not know it, but the open road's the last place a man can be with his thoughts. Ask himself the important questions in life. Should I start Tom Brady? Peyton Manning? Whoever I choose, I'm positive they're going to do well, because I'm just too cool to lose. And don't you dare forget it. Oh, hey, look at that. Taco place. I like tacos. Taco. Flacco. Yeah, there we go. Now the universe is talking to me. I'm gonna go get me some tacos, and I'm gonna start me some Joe Flaccos. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna ride this one all the way to the million, boys. And look out behind me, because you're gonna be eating a lot of my dust.
I hope you guys like that. We're going to wrap up here with a brand new segment on our show, because all the segments are brand new because it's a new show. A segment we call Try Again. As we just saw, a lot of people spend countless hours figuring out who they're going to put in their lineup. Some people don't. We don't need to waste our time on this show singing the praises of the person that won the Million Maker. They're a millionaire. I think they'll be fine. But the guy that came in dead last, I think he deserves a little bit of attention. So whoever wins this is going to get an award. The qualifications are you had to try to field a competitive team and fail. If the lineup's locked before you could get your entry in and it went in as a no entry and you got a 0, that does not count. You have to score points. So without further ado, the envelope, please. Thank you so much. Settle down. You'll find out soon enough. And the winner is Nicholas And. You were the worst player that actually tried to field a team. This is not good. I mean, this guy really did a number. Russell Wilson, he had Reggie Bush and Joyke Bell. He was really trying to cover all the Detroit running game. Dwayne Harris, this is just a bad team. So what does the winner of this prestigious honor of coming in last get? Go check your account, Nicholas And. Courtesy of the Catch-Up and DraftKings, we've put a millionaire ticket in your account for next week's entry. Try again. But thanks so much for tuning into the Catch-Up on DKTV. We'll be back next week. Later.